Is this the game that turns the Cubs around and gets them on a roll? We talk about it now.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Please support the show and be a part of our community here by following on your preferred audio platform. And you can watch, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Swing for the fences on Sleeper Picks, and you can win up to 100 times your money. Hard to believe, 100 times your money. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Sleeper's terms for use for details. Currently operational over 30 states. To check out Sleeper today. Well, the Cubs were down 3-0 early Tuesday to the Nationals, and we're down 3-1 entering the sixth before they erupted for 2 in the sixth, 6 in the seventh, and 8 in the eighth to win 17-3. 17 runs on 20 hits, 5 walks, and 1 hit by pitch, Sam. And a lot of weird scores around the sport Tuesday night. And this was a very odd blowout win.
Yeah, speaking of Sleeper, I'd like to get a good 8 hours.
Same, dude.
Yeah, this is just one of those Cubs games that when you look back at the 2023 season as a whole, you're just going to say this is just such a weird team.
Right.
When it goes well, it goes so well in every facet at the same time. And it's just, and when it goes poorly, it just goes horribly. And it's just kind of what it is. I just laughed. I was texting a lot with Nick.
That's what it is now.
Yeah, I was texting a lot with Nick during this game, and I texted him I think it was before the bottom of the eighth, and I'm like, they're going to score like 7 here, or some weird thing to blow it open and waste all the runs. But it is what it is. Look, good for Happ and Suzuki and Horner. When those guys hit, they're a pretty good offense, and they haven't hit enough, and they hit on Tuesday night, and they exploded, really.
Right.
And in reality, the weird part is, Matt, in the second half of the season so far, they've played 5 games. Their run totals are 3, 10, 5, 5, and 17. You'll take that over 5 games. They just, unfortunately, they've given up a lot of runs. They've given up a lot of homers to start this 5-game stretch. So they're 2-3 instead of, 3-2, which is where we'd like them to be. But yeah, it was nice. Tyone kept them in the game, and it's weird. It's technically kind of reminds me of an extreme version of that Seattle game where it was a blowout, but it was a comeback blowout. They were down 3-0, in the 5th. And then, I thought the key hit of the game was Bellinger to tie it. And then that error, and then Wisdom, who, is hot again. Hopefully he stays in the lineup, but you just never know. Blowout win, and that's about it, man. Suzuki got into a ball. That was nice to see.
Yeah, the Suzuki home run and maybe the Bellinger hit, like you mentioned, or the turnaround points, Wisdom with the go-ahead, solo Jackson there. Yeah, that's why the run differential thing has become, I think we used it just before we hit record, annoying.
Yeah, right.
Because you superimpose a 14 run win.
Yeah, the Pythag record is going to look insane after.
Yeah, you're going to have a good run differential and supposedly win more games than you should have just based on that stat. We've, of course, broken down so many games where they should have, but
sure.
Multi-hit games from Horner, Suzuki, Happ, Bellinger, Amaya, Wisdom, and Mastroboni, who
3 hits
entered this game late for Christopher Morel. Hopefully he's okay.
Right.
Horner and Mastroboni each had 3 hits, while Suzuki had 4. Only 3 of the Cubs' 20 hits were for extra bases. as Suzuki and Wisdom homered. Tyone ended up going that 5 2/3. But again, it's the Nationals. Right. So you could do this. And of course, we could talk about in this episode, hey, this is a game that could get the Cubs going.
No.
But we've seen this movie before. And quite frankly, it should be for the half-price Tuesday ticket.
Yeah.
Because how many times can you say this about a team?
Well, how many games in are we? We do a show every day, so about 93
times. I don't even know anymore, man.
No.
94, actually.
Yeah. Did you listen to Ross at all on the score today? Or you didn't? I'm sure you were busy.
I just listened to it the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, I actually watched it. Man. I watched it live because he was live in studio.
How do you watch it?
It was on YouTube.
Oh boy.
And
what was the story? Yeah, I just listened to it, but I didn't really catch anything. They asked him about country music, right?
Well, the power pitcher thing he mentioned like 3 times. Hey, we don't have anybody that can miss bats, so we got a small margin.
It was a solid interview. I'm being facetious.
Yeah, it was a little too like he's just looks like he's like in a good mood.
Yeah, you think he should be like in a
No, I don't think he should be anything. I don't know how people handle things. I'm just saying when I listened to it, if you ask me, what I think the record would be off his tone, I'd say like 52-40.
Yeah. I wish.
Yeah, look, I've seen a lot of different sorts of, conversation pieces over the last 24 hours. And the one thing I will say in a positive light for the Cubs is that, the way I look at it, you could look at it differently. Some people, Matt, look at it like before the 21 season when they traded Yu Darvish, that was the start of the rebuild. I don't look at it like that. To me, it's July of 21. That was when everything started.
Agreed.
And then year 1 was 22 and year 2 is 23. And the goal was in 22, nothing. In 23, compete. And in 24, contend. Those were the goals, right? And so far, 23 has been a failure. There's no questions about it. And they got about this much time left to, they basically have no margin of error now to save that. However, that doesn't mean 24 is automatically a failure. It just means right now it's not trending in a positive direction. But Jed is going to get 24, and they're going to have to make a lot of moves. And the biggest thing on this current roster to turn 24 into a success, which would be contending, is to have the first 3 guys in the order on Tuesday night become really good players again, or, if you don't think they have been, out of nowhere becoming them. Because they're going to be a part of the team, whether you like it or not. So
I'm not on the edge of my seat about it, but I do think that's what makes this interesting. I'd like to see how this plays out and what Hoyer does.
Well, you're gonna.
I don't see how you could make a case for 2024 in July of 23, but I know that's what the populace, wants to do or tends to do.
Yeah, no, you can't. You just said it though. You just made the point. That's the other thing too. We, and there's nobody more guilty than me, love to live in the moment. But March 24 versus July 23 are going to be night and day. What this team is constructed and how we feel about it, right? We're all in a bad mood right now. We're all tired. It's almost August. It's almost the dog days, and this season's taken off more years off my life than, bad food.
Than pop or soda.
Yeah, soda, pop, steaks, cookies, cupcakes, brownies, whatever.
Candy. You're a big candy guy back in the day.
Right. And so we're all kind of sick of it. So, of course, we're going to look towards 2024 pessimistically, and that's fine. But in reality, when they make their first big move at the winter meetings, it's going to flip right away. So you made my point for me. Just leave 24 alone for now and just
I don't like that.
Let 23 be the failure that it's been. And
maybe it certainly has been.
And a 17-3 final as Fields really got going late.
Yeah.
And the defense, after giving up a first try field goal, did not
Tremaine
allow
Edmonds with the big sack.
Yeah, they didn't allow a play of over 10 yards the rest of the game. So
no, 17-3 would be a great opening day score.
I got to brush up on my Bears. Like I don't even off the top of my head. Like I'm trying to think of some of their defensive players.
Tremaine Edmonds. was
they
free agent
signed
signing.
him. Right.
And then
what's that kid's name from Penn State? The safety?
Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, Brisker.
Yeah, they got a lot of dudes that are trying to make a case for themselves this fall.
Well, no, Fields, if he stays healthy, he could set some records. So the Bears are going to blow out Green Bay at Soldier
I don't know about that.
on opening day Sunday because Love stinks.
Okay.
Whatever his first name is. Remember, he came out on Father's Day and said Happy Father's Day to the Bears. He was trying to make a joke. It didn't even land.
Yeah, it was an odd one for sure.
No, it made no sense.
No, and if you're interested in hearing us talk Bears, please let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll try to cook up another show for this.
Did Tyone get the win today, or was it?
Who really cares? So
was it Fulmer?
Yeah, it was Fulmer. Fulmer. Yeah,
well, he might get traded for like some French toast.
Okay,
he could be a trade.
French toast. I could use some of that maybe on Wednesday. So we're gonna preview Wednesday's game.
Hey, the only two guys in the lineup that didn't get hits today for the Cubs, both first basemen. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, is that a position of need for them or
Mancini Mancini had a rough 2 AB. He struck out and grounded into a double play.
Right. Oh, that was his 2 at bat?
Yeah, he grounded into a double play. So he continues.
Wow. He's probably one of the 10 worst players in the league.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna just leave it. And I think Eric Hosmer probably.
Oh yeah, remember him?
Was better, but he Mancini
100 plate appearances even. I remember that.
Mancini had the longer deal, so
correct.
He got to stay.
All right. Well, the Cubs, win this series. I also have a stat about how they do after blowout wins.
Yeah, they need to win this series.
I did a lot of my crack research staff did that before the show, and we talk about it next. Today's episode is brought to you by another new sponsor here at the Locked On Podcast Network, and that is Dave. At one time or another, we all need a little financial help. That's why Dave is great. Dave can get you cash when you need a hand between paychecks and can help you build credit by settling extra cash advances on time. Dave is the banking app that's leveling the financial playing field. When you download it, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check and no late fees. It's part of Dave's extra cash account. Advance the money you need with no interest and then settle up later. Download Dave today, dave.com/MLB. That's dave.com/MLB. And you could get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. Download the Dave app now or go to dave.com/MLB. Cubs play the Nationals at 7:05 p.m. Central Wednesday, and you can listen to every pitch with the Cubs hometown broadcast on SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Cubs or tune in to channel 844 and catch the Cubs all season long on SiriusXM.
Matthew, I would just like to sorry to interrupt you. I'd just like to read a David Ross quote after today's game. Ian Happ was removed in the 7th inning of this ball game, and it led me to believe that it was just because the game was out of reach, but that was not the case.
Really?
According to Megan Montemurro, in regards to Happ coming out of the game after the 7th, Ross said, and I quote, "Everybody's got a little something going on," I would say, to that extent. There was a little MASH unit in there today. There's a lot going on, close quote. Ross said he'd give an update on Happ tomorrow. I'm sorry.
So what's the news there?
I'm sorry to laugh, man.
Well, I don't understand what's the news there. I didn't catch it.
Ross said that Swanson would be available probably off the bench in New York, and he may not come back for weeks.
I know. I actually have an update on him later in the show.
And Happ, it sounds like he's going to be day to day.
Well, I'm not going to go that far, but yeah, they don't have it earn our benefit of the doubt.
No, but I don't understand. Why can't they just say, "Hey, his leg hurt"?
They don't do that. They're like hockey teams.
No, they're literally like hockey teams.
Yeah, no, it's stupid.
So basically, just before we get to our point,
Well, I don't know if we have a point
on Wednesday's game. You know where this is headed. At the end of the year, the narrative's going to be, Suzuki and Happ and Horner were playing hurt a lot of the year. So,
well, that's
be ready for that.
Don't lie to the fans.
Be ready for that.
Okay, no, it's good to warn the people.
Be warned about that. So,
all right. Well, what did you do for food this evening?
I can't say it because I don't want to give any promote, but let's just say I had a fine sub sandwich.
All right. So Kyle Hendricks versus Trevor Williams.
Turkey, mayo, lettuce, tomato, easy hot pepper, some juices in there.
Hendricks 3.57 ERA and 10 starts. He's
been giving up a lot of home runs.
He's been a nice story this year up until his last outing.
Well, last two, really.
And Williams 4.42 ERA. In 19 starts, former Cub. He was actually, a little known fact. He was in the Javi Baez. It was Javi Baez and Trevor Williams for Pete Crow Armstrong, who homered again on Tuesday night, by the way.
Yeah, and last time Trevor faced the Cubs, he looked like Tom Seaver.
And a misnomer that the Cubs don't score the day after winning by blowout fashion. Cubs actually haven't been bad the day after winning by 5+ runs. They are 9-11 this year, 9 wins, 11 losses the day after winning by 5+, and have scored nearly 4 runs per game with 79 runs across those 20 games. So we'll see.
They're heavy favorites tomorrow.
Heavy favorites. So not really going to take much stock into that. This season's been a roller coaster.
Well, the key is
I don't like amusement parks.
The key for Wednesday's simple. Can Hendricks keep the 1927 Yankees or the Washington Nationals in the park? If
their 2-3-4 actually isn't that bad.
Well, they're making Keibert Ruiz look like Johnny Bench. They keep
Johnny
walking.
Ruiz.
If he keeps them in the park, they'll win the game.
Right. All right, well, we'll see if the wind's blowing out as the day moves along and, if the weather conditions come into play.
And I'm actually going to go to Nick's playoff game tomorrow, so I'll probably catch the last few innings of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time with this. So.
All right, well.
All right, now. And by the way,
during the week, wow.
Don't look now. St. Louis is getting hot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've won, I think, 4 in a row.
Okay, well, that's great.
So they're going to come into Wrigley and just put a kibosh on this campaign.
I hope not. All right, coming up next, we close out with official updates on Dansby Swanson and Nick Madrigal. Remember them? Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 5 million active users in 2022. At Sleeper, it's not just about sports. It's about building personal connections and lasting memories. Sleeper is now offering up to 100 times payout for up to 8-pick contests. Choose as many as 8 players that you like and pick more or less than your favorite baseball stats like homers, strikeouts, hits, and more. Use promo code Locked On. You'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 30 states. Check out Sleeper today. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen. To close out today's program, updates on Dansby Swanson and Nick Madrigal this week as the Cubs starting shortstop and third baseman are still out with injuries. Dansby Swanson, Sam, not progressing well.
No.
Manager David Ross said Swanson is having the most trouble starting and stopping as a runner, both fielding and as a base runner. And the worst part about this is Ross compared Swanson's heel injury to a bone bruise, and Cody Bellinger missed a whole month earlier this campaign with what turned out to be a bone bruise. Nick Madrigal is doing well, recovering from a hamstring strain, and could begin a rehab assignment as soon as this weekend. So very mixed news there. And Swanson out for a month would be really troubling.
And that's another point about this season that you just can't ignore. The Cubs also have had, we talked about the luck element on Monday. If I were to tell you 5 minutes before opening day, here are the guys that are going to miss significant time this year: Steele, Horner, Suzuki, Bellinger, and Swanson.
Yeah.
Those are your five-year best guys.
Right.
You know, they haven't had good luck. And Swanson's whole appeal is that he plays 160 games a year. Yeah. So this is really and this totally shifts everything because it takes a Gold Glove award winner out of the lineup, and then it takes a Gold Glove second baseman and moves him over to short where he's just okay, and then it puts somebody at second that's not as good as Horner, and then you have Madrigal, messes up the whole thing. So in their defense, I mean, you know, and a bat that they need. So it's just been a perfect storm of stuff. And, you know, I was thinking about when the score was 3-0, our nation's capital on Tuesday night, I was thinking about how I was going to divide up the pie, but it's something along the lines of a large percentage on the margins, Ross and Hoyer, a large percentage of the players not producing, but then there's a real piece of the pie that's things have gone wrong that are really out of their control. I mean, the Cubs went 0-4 when Justin Steele was out in those starts, including the ones he got knocked out on. You know, there's 2 or 3 games right there that you get back. Milwaukee lost a 1-run game today in the city of brotherly love. And, you know, so the Cubs are 7.5. Just those 2-3 games make a huge difference. Dansby out makes a tons of difference. When Nico and Bellinger were out, this team was, you know, more lifeless than any team you could be. So, you know, the injuries and of course the reporting of them have just been gruesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I look at the reporters or more the teams.
It's the team.
Lack of transparency.
Bellinger and Suzuki each were told the day after their injury they're available.
And Horner.
Yeah, and then you don't see him again for 6 months.
Right. Yeah, no, Swanson had this injury once before, and he was out about a month. So
yeah, and by the way, he hurt himself because he was frustrated he was trying to beat out his second double play. He didn't, and his foot just like hit the base where I don't know. I've never had a heel injury, but I've heard they're not very pleasant. So
yeah, it'd be one thing if it was just for a series or two, but now it's extended time.
Well, no, it's Yankee series, Red Sox series, now the Nats series. We were hoping for the Cardinals. You may not see him until we're on 35th and Shields. You may not see him until after the deadline.
No, it would be after the deadline if it's a month.
And was it you that made the point to me? I don't know if it was on or off air that like they showed him fielding grounders the other day. He was grimacing.
Yeah, I told you off air. It was true. I did. So he didn't look comfortable at all.
No, I don't.
You would say he was in a lot of discomfort.
And the trainers visited Nico Horner today at first base. If there's something wrong with him, we're out of guys.
Right? There's like no one on the team.
There's nobody else. Who are they going to put at short? Morel? He's got neck tight. Yeah, he's got neck tightness, Morel. Another 3 RBI day for a mile. It'll be fun to watch him play August 16th. Will be the next time you see him.
Shout out to the everydayers who are with us all 5 episodes throughout the week, and you could be coming every day.
We're going to watch Amaya in mid-September. He'll be there.
Each and every weekday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube.
Young catcher that's a stud on both sides.
The like button for the algorithm, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts and streaming.
Maybe play him against the righty, see if he can hit one.
Sirius XM. We haven't gone live.
Who knows?
On a regular episode in a while. Maybe we do that Wednesday. We'll see.
Maybe not.
He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't tell with you anymore. This is Locked On Cubs.